Claiming to boast the finest view in England, situated in one of the most beautiful estates in the country, this property is in need of a new tenant who could actually live here rent-free. Find out where I am in just a moment.
Having spent much of his adult life abroad, today's buyer, who's house hunting with his brother, hopes to find a country pad he can finally call home. And when it comes to the niceties of property shopping, we're all in agreement.
Oh, this is nice, isn't it?
Oh, it's nice and bright.
Oh, this is nice, isn't it?
It's nice and bright, isn't it? Nice and light.
Oh, this is nice, isn't it?
It is.
Decent-sized garden, isn't it? Today, I'm in Oxfordshire at the Woodstock Manor House, whose views were described as the finest in England by Lady Randolph Churchill, mother of Sir Winston, who was born here on the Blenheim Palace estate. Now, the Manor House has a lease which is currently up for renewal, free of charge, but with one caveat. The property requires £3 million worth of refurbishment, and whoever takes the lease on must commit to those works. But whoever does will be guaranteed splendid views of the Oxfordshire countryside for at least 20 years.
Situated in southern England, landlocked Oxfordshire is bordered by 6 counties, including Gloucestershire, Wiltshire and Berkshire. In the south of the county, the chalky Chiltern Hills reign supreme as an area of outstanding natural beauty, covering some 300 square miles and home to the once endangered red kite. The county's capital is Oxford, the city of dreaming spires, a phrase coined by the 19th century poet Matthew Arnold to describe the architecture of the university buildings, many of which are around 700 years old. Just outside the city, the honey-coloured market town of Woodstock is popular with tourists who visit the nearby splendour of Blenheim Palace. Pretty Oxfordshire villages include Islip, which was the birthplace of Anglo-Saxon King Edward the Confessor, and whose death in 1066 sparked the infamous battle to succeed him at Hastings. With its city of culture, classic English countryside and eye-catching rural architecture, Oxfordshire is a county with something for everyone. Oxfordshire's prime central location, attractive property stock and excellent transport links into London have pushed the average price for a detached property here up to an eye-watering £446,000. That's around 50% above the national figure. But that's not to say the county is solely for those with money to burn. There are more affordable areas if you know where to look for them, such as the countryside around the towns of Banbury and Bicester, which are, perhaps unsurprisingly, located towards the north of the county, further away from London. So what's attracting today's buyer to this beautiful county? Let's meet him and find out. Today's buyer is Phil, who has asked his older and slightly taller brother Rob to join him on his house hunt. After spending much of his adult working life abroad, home is currently a rented apartment in Chinham, a suburb of Basingstoke in Hampshire.
Living in Chinham has been okay, but it's not where I wanted to end up. And I think where I am presently, living in an apartment, and like with all apartments, you're on large modern developments. You know, I don't want that sort of lifestyle. I was brought up in a village type atmosphere, and I'm now thinking that I'd like to get back to that.
Phil is originally from South Wales, and until he retired, he worked in the telecoms industry, spending long periods living in both the Middle East and Southeast Asia, before finally returning to the UK 2 years ago.
I've travelled quite a lot. I've lived out of a suitcase for quite a bit, and lived in other people's homes, and even Rob's.
Yes.
You know. Yeah. Well, somebody's got to do the cleaning, as they say there. So
we try not to give him our address, but he always found us.
Yeah.
I think it was the food, wasn't it?
It was the food.
Cooking.
It was the food. Yeah. It wasn't the free drink, I know that.
With his brother Rob living in nearby Milton Keynes, a son moving to Bedfordshire in the near future, and a daughter in North Wales, the self-confessed globetrotter is hoping to settle down within easy reach of all of his relatives.
It's time to think about the next 10, 15, 20 years of my life, and where I want to be, and where my friends will be, and where my family's going to be.
And the Oxfordshire countryside should also appeal to Phil's interests and hobbies.
I am toying with the idea of buying a classic car. Obviously, I need to have a double garage for that. I play a lot of golf, some great golf courses around there.
Now, there's something sadly lacking in Philip's golf, and that's talent. Talent. Sadly lacking.
When it comes to choosing the perfect property, they'll put any brotherly competition aside, for two minds are better than one.
I think because although we're brothers, we still look at things slightly differently, don't we? Well, I think I'm more of a practical type person, I think. I think I'm going to be a bonus, an added bonus anyway, going to be there.
Yes. And he's free.
But as well as being on hand to offer advice, Rob is convinced that his brother is making the right decision to finally put down roots in the Oxfordshire countryside.
We will be moving into an area which is unknown. So you will have to start again to make new friends. Phil is a very friendly chap. He makes friends very, very easily. He can join in. He wants to do things. So I think it is a big move for Phil, but I think it's not a move that he'll be afraid of. And I think he'll do it very, very successfully, actually.
Phil would like to be within a 45-minute drive of his brother Rob in Milton Keynes. So we're concentrating our property search in the northern half of the county. I'm meeting up with him in Oxfordshire to hone in on Phil's property wish list.
So we're meeting by a babbling brook. You got the message?
Yes.
Beautiful here, isn't it?
Lovely.
Absolutely.
Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
Absolutely gorgeous.
So, Rob, as his brother, how long has he been harping on about this move to the countryside?
He's been harping on for many years. For many, many years.
He's consistent.
Yes. So I wish that you'd hurry up and find him somewhere.
So how long have you been looking?
Probably in earnest 2 years now, since I came back from overseas.
What exactly do you think you're looking for, then, Phil?
I like modern living, but I like to be in a house that's got some sort of character.
OK.
Light, airy, 3 bedrooms.
Right. 3 bedrooms, right.
Double garage, preferably.
Double garage, right.
Because you can put all your junk in there, you know. So
And he's got a lot of junk.
I have a lot of junk.
So, decent-sized house.
Yep.
Garden. You've got a bit of time on your hands, haven't you?
Yeah. And I like a bit of gardening. I like to do a bit of physical work. So
What sort of gardening? Growing veg?
I haven't in the past, but I wouldn't mind having a go at doing a little bit.
The village. How big a village would you like it to be?
Something I always think about a village of 600 to 1,000 people, but you know it doesn't need to be that.
I think he wants to have neighbours because Phil's quite a friendly, sociable fella. So, you know, if there's something happening in the village itself, Phil will take part in it.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, things like Amdram, although he's never done that, but all dancing, because you're learning ballroom dancing, aren't you, Phil?
Yeah.
You know, things like that.
Twinkle
so he'll
toes.
take
Yeah, I don't know about
Yes.
that. You should see me dance.
clodhoppers.
honestly.
Clodhoppers.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, the community spirit, that's what I'm looking for.
Well, it sounds like that's what you're after, which is brilliant. Let's talk price, Phil.
Uh-huh.
What's the budget?
The budget is about £675,000, which I think is a fair budget for what I want.
Yeah. Well, after looking for a couple of years, I think you've got a good idea generally of what you want. These next couple of days are more about the specifics, what works for you and what doesn't.
That is very true. I think it's going to be a great challenge for you guys to find me a place, and I'm really looking forward to it. I think we're both looking forward to it.
And I hope you do find something for him, because we can go on to a different subject after 2 years of boring us about it.
I'll do my best. Come on, mate. He's been boring you, has he?
Absolutely.
With a budget of £675,000, our buyer would like a house of character with a modern and light feel inside. It must have 3 bedrooms to accommodate visiting family and a double garage to store all the belongings he's collected on his travels, along with the planned classic car. The garden should be of a decent size with room for a vegetable patch, and he'd like to live within a village community. We've lined up an appealing selection of Oxfordshire homes for Phil and Rob to investigate, but I won't be revealing the price details until the end of each house tour. Our final offering, the Mystery House, could challenge Phil to streamline his collectibles. Our first house is in the village of Kirtlington, 6 miles north of Oxford. A small village with a population of just under 1,000, Many of the older buildings are constructed using the golden-coloured limestone commonly found throughout the area. Amenities include a post office with convenience store, a gastropub and a 13th century church. More importantly for Phil, there's an 18-hole golf course with driving range to help him improve his swing. And hopefully property number 1 will come up to par as it's located on the edge of the popular village.
Option number 1. Here we go. What do we think?
Yeah. Well, outwardly, it looks quite nice, actually. Nice and modern. Nice light, plenty of windows.
It was completed in 2010. All
Right.
Now, what do you think of this edge of village location for your brother here, Rob?
I think it's ideal. It's not far from local shops or post office and the pub.
Most importantly.
Yeah, quick walk within 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Half hour back from the pub, though.
Crawl back. Crawl back.
Now, this is south-facing. I think you get the best first impressions from here.
Right.
But your everyday entrance would be round the back up its own drive. This house tries to make the most of the sun both ways.
Yeah.
Let's go inside.
OK.
Although the location seems to suit Phil, I don't seem to be getting an overwhelming first reaction to the property itself. But at just 5 years old, I'm hoping the modern interior will appeal to his taste.
In we come, gentlemen. You told me, Phil, you liked open plan and light and space.
Yeah.
If you come and stand right in here,
All right.
you get an idea of what's what and where's where.
Yeah, it looks nice, actually. Nice out. As you said, it's open. Nice size. It's,
It's light and airy.
yeah.
Which is exactly what you said you wanted.
Yeah. Does flow very well, actually.
And certainly in the kitchen. Let me show you.
OK.
So, open plan.
Overall, very nice. I like the high ceilings. I like the featured windows. It's a nice sized kitchen, not too big.
Oh, yeah.
Lots of light. I'd like to try the tap. Is that
Try the
all right?
tap?
Yes. I like to see that these things work. Oh, yeah. Water works, Phil.
I'm just worried, Rob. How are you going to clean those windows for me?
Are you happy with those taps now?
I'm quite happy with this task.
Well,
I know they work because otherwise, what would Phil do?
Yeah, I know.
Well, I tell you
He'd
what,
come over to my place to wash his dishes.
That's true.
it's a good job you're here, Rob.
You know,
I
I
wouldn't
have
say
my
that.
uses.
Well, Rob did say he was practical, and I'm sure the water pressure's equally as strong in the utility room, which lies just off the kitchen. The ground floor also features a generous study room. Upstairs, there are 2 large bedrooms, both in the eaves and one with dormer windows overlooking the front and rear gardens. Both rooms make use of the family bathroom. But the master is back downstairs on the ground floor.
The current owner uses this bedroom as his master because it's actually the biggest bedroom rather, and obviously it's got an ensuite.
It's not huge, but it's OK.
You don't sound like you're jumping for joy in it. What did I say?
I would expect for the master bedroom to be a little bit bigger and probably have a bit more areas for storage. It's OK, but it's not a wow.
Let's go outside, look
Yeah.
at the garden there,
Yes.
and start getting your head around how much this house might be for sale.
OK,
Right.
look forward to it. Yeah.
Okay.
So the size of the master has let the side down a little, even though Phil has 2 further bedrooms to choose from upstairs. Outside, the tidy lawned garden extends to the rear and is bordered on one side by mature trees. Although there's no vegetable patch here at the moment, Phil could utilise the village allotment, which borders the front of the property, although there is a waiting list.
OK then. So this is the north-facing garden. What's missing from this equation?
Garage.
Yeah, but you can see where you want to put it. I mean, the owners had conversations with the planning officer and they said, in principle, they'd have no objection, but you would have to make formal inquiries,
Right.
your own.
Nice sized garden. Definitely sort of the garden size that I'm looking for.
Is it? OK.
Yeah. Put some runner beans along the fence.
There you go.
You know.
So, guess the price.
Well, I'm going to say 649.
I think it's lower than that. I think it's about 600,000.
Rob, he's on the money. This place on the market for £600,000.
Yes!
Go back into the house, have a good
Yeah.
look around, and then I'll catch you later on.
OK.
Okay.
All right,
Off you go.
Go right in.
Under budget by £75,000, our first property, a modern chalet-style house, offers Phil the contemporary interior he wanted, along with 3 bedrooms and a manageable garden. Situated on the edge of a popular village, it gives Phil a community on his doorstep, and although the property lacks a double garage at the moment, there's money left over to build one, subject to planning permission.
My initial reaction was, what a lovely setting this was. Certainly looking at the outside of the house, it looked nice. It was nice and clean lines. It was, you know, well maintained.
When I first saw the property, I thought it was a little small. As Johnny brought us into the property, I felt that it was nice, light and airy. As far as the character is concerned, I don't think it matched Phil's expectations.
So, all done inside?
Yep. Good start, really
done.
is.
Good start, but it sounds like could do better.
Not there.
Not there
yet.
No, it's not right for him, I don't think. He's not happy with it.
Well, onward and upward then. Follow me.
Okay.
On we go.
In the heart of the county lies the city of Oxford, a university town but also an economic hub for the surrounding countryside, relying on its transport network to ferry people in and out of the busy city. Typically, the student staple is the handy bicycle, whilst for other residents, the bus remains a favoured form of transit. In 1967, a group of enthusiasts established a syndicate to preserve the city's buses for future generations. And today, the Oxford Bus Museum, just outside Woodstock, houses a classic collection of vehicles with over 30 models on display. Since Phil is interested in vintage automobiles, we sent him and Rob to meet museum trustee Chris Butterfield.
Pleased to meet you.
Welcome to the museum. Here we're in one of the principal exhibition halls. Behind us there is an example of a 1913 bus, because in 1913 the very first buses came to Oxford. The first bus in Oxford followed straight on from horse trams. Oxford was rather unusual in not having any electric trams. So in 1913, when most cities had electric trams, Oxford still had the horse. And some people were really sick of it. So William Morris, the man who built the cars in Oxford, he actually operated the very first buses in Oxford. And what we see here is typical of the bus.
Seating a mere 36 people and limited to a speed of just 12 miles per hour, the first motorised buses to hit Oxford were still a big improvement on the horse-drawn tram and made commuting a lot easier.
So, Chris, what was the cost of a typical fare at that time?
Well, a penny or 2 pence. Old money, of course, not new money.
Yes.
There's a song called Polly Perkins of Paddington Green that you might remember here.
Before my time, maybe
Perhaps before
maybe
your
Rob's.
time, but it does end up with somebody who loses the love of his life, who goes off with the bow-legged conductor of a tuppenny bus. So that was a tuppenny fare on that particular bus. So a penny, 2 pence was quite typical.
Oh, right.
Over the decades that followed, the shape and size of buses changed dramatically. One of the biggest advances was in engine design, which had a positive impact on passenger comfort and saved the bus companies some money as well.
Well, here we're in one of the running sheds, which is where we keep the running members of the fleet. We've got 2 single-decker buses here, which illustrate between them very well the development of the bus between the 1950s and the 1960s. What has happened over those few years is they've taken the engine from the front of the bus. We can see it standing there vertically at the front. They've turned it sideways, horizontally, and put it underneath the floor of the bus, a little bit further back. And that means that the passengers can now get on at the front and pay the driver as they do so. You've saved the conductor's wages, and we're getting towards the kind of bus that we know nowadays.
Eventually, engines were moved right to the back of the bus, allowing even easier passenger access to the front, the low-floor double-decker being the most recognisable design today. But we're staying in the 1960s with one of the last front-engine models, an AEC renown. Phil has been offered a chance to take the wheel. He fires up the 9.6-litre diesel engine.
Start switch on, and start.
Okay, sounds nice.
It's all right, is this? It's okay.
Steady.
Rich and throaty, they say.
All right then, Phil. Shall we go off?
Yes, as long as you got your tickets.
We have our tickets.
Shall we get on board?
We'll get on board. Come along, then.
30 feet in length and weighing 7 tonnes, it's thought there are only 20 of these vehicles still in existence.
All right, well, here we are. You can ring the bell. You can go.
It's just a short drive along the museum's forecourt, but Phil has got the hang of it. So it's time we put our foot down to find him the home of his dreams. For our second offering, we're travelling north to the village of Upper Hayford, about 6 miles northwest of Bicester and around a 45-minute drive from Rob in Milton Keynes. The village's mix of architecture includes a long row of Cotswold stone cottages covered by one continuous thatched roof. Amenities include a public house and a former Victorian reading room, restored by the community and now used by local clubs and societies. Running through Upper Hayford is the Oxford Canal, which opened in the late 18th century to ship coal from the Coventry coalfields to Oxford, where it connects with the River Thames. The village is surrounded by farmland, a mixture of arable and livestock. House number 2 is located in the heart of this sought-after village.
Now then, the second offering is a bit older,
See that?
by a couple of hundred years. This is late 18th century. So you feel a bit more like you're in the heart of the village.
Nice rural setting.
Yeah.
Looks really nice.
It does actually, yes.
I'm really keen to look inside and see what it's got going for it.
Good. Well, that's why we're here. Let's go and have a look.
Okay.
Built of Cotswold stone, the present owners have completely renovated this end-of-terrace 3-storey property, and it combines characterful charm with modern conveniences. The house greets you with this part-panelled dining room, but backing onto that is a modern extension.
Oh.
Loads of space, loads of options. I want us first to settle in this room, so I think you'll like it.
Oh, very nice.
Oh, this is nice, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely.
It's a nice sized room, isn't it?
Nice and bright. It's one of those relaxing places. You can just get your newspaper, sit down here and just chill out.
And spend hours reading his paper.
Well, no, this is completely different to your first reactions in the first property.
Yes.
Automatically, you're saying, oh, I can see myself sitting here doing what you love. But I want you to see this room first, because I think this is a really nice partner with the main living room. Let me show you.
Right.
Okay.
So what do you think about this room, then?
Oh, this is nice.
Oh, this is lovely, isn't
lovely
it?
fireplace as well.
Yes, Inglenook type fireplace, isn't it?
So tell me, Rob,
Yes.
have you seen your brother react like this to many houses before?
No. I think he quite likes this one.
The thing is, this is not a detached house, but it's of a size, you know, and it feels warm, actually. You know, it feels comfortable and cosy.
And of an age where the walls will be quite thick anyway.
Look at the reveal of that window.
That's
the
right.
depth of those walls.
So you're thinking of your neighbours, if they have the same thickness.
Well, I don't think there'll be neighbours quite as thick as you two, but it'll
Well,
be...
you never know.
That's coming from me, the thickest of them all.
That's true.
Let's go to the kitchen.
Right. The kitchen.
More work been done in here.
Oh, this is nice, isn't it?
It's nice and bright, isn't it?
Yes.
I like the centre.
Centrepiece. Very nice. Right. May I try the taps?
Yeah, go on.
I can try the taps, can I?
Try the taps, it's all part of this viewing process.
Okie dokie. Yeah, good flow on that. Taps are okay, Phil.
I like
You're
the
safe.
I
You're
like the
safe.
modern basin. You know, the dual.
Well, I must say, from where I'm stood, so far so good.
I think so. It's really good. I really like this house.
Good. Upstairs next.
So, a big thumbs up from both Phil and Rob to the ground floor layout and finish. Upstairs, there are 4 bedrooms spread over 2 floors. Up on the second floor, nestled in the eaves, are 2 smaller bedrooms with skylight windows, although one is presently used as a study. Then on the first floor are 2 larger bedrooms, including a guest double with built-in wardrobes, and there's a fully tiled family bathroom, which just leaves the master suite.
Now, this master bedroom has a small walk-in wardrobe through that door and then an ensuite as well.
Oh, okay. This is a nice sized room.
It is a nice sized room, isn't
Plenty
it?
of space here. This is perfect. A nice chair, you can sit there. Yes.
Read your paper.
Read the paper.
Read the paper.
You know.
That's right.
Yeah, look.
Rob, are we looking potentially at a future new home?
For my brother?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, now what you've got to do is try and price it.
Okay.
Okay.
Start thinking. You're 1-0 down.
I know I'm
We are
1-0.
thinking.
With the interior scoring highly, let's hope the garden is on target. It extends to the rear and is mainly lawn. Fully enclosed and secluded, there's also a paved patio area, handy for entertaining.
Oh, this is nice, isn't it?
It is.
Decent-sized garden, isn't it?
It's
Yeah.
lovely, isn't it?
Really nice. Just
Yes.
the right size.
and then you've got a garage, which is one of 3, and then there's some planning consent to build a new garage if you want just beyond it.
OK.
So, Rob, would you like to see your brother living in this house?
It's a bit close to where I live, but yes, OK, I'll acquiesce.
There you go.
Well, that's good. Good start, isn't it? It's
All
not
right,
bad.
then. Let's guess the price.
Now, I think it's slightly above the price that he asked originally, so I'm going for 680.
OK.
I'll say 665.
This house, believe it or not, is on the market for offers around £625,000.
Oh,
Gosh,
that's pretty good.
that is
Isn't
good.
it?
That is. That's well below my budget and gives me a bit of money to
Spend on the person to help you find it.
do it. Well, I wouldn't say that.
I would. I thought it was more expensive. And I was being kind to let my brother win.
Call him
Well,
what
that's
you
very
want.
kind of you to do that.
Well, it's 1-1, so well done.
I think so.
Go back
Let's go have
inside,
a look,
fellas. I'll
Rob.
see you later on.
Thank you.
OK, see you later.
Well, they said themselves, pleasantly surprised, under budget. What's not to like?
Leaving Phil £50,000 to spare, our second option is a Cotswold stone cottage dating back to the late 1700s. With a modern interior making use of some striking original features, it offers Phil character with a contemporary feel. It comes with 1 more bedroom than he asked for and a manageable garden. There's already a single garage with options to build a second, and the house is situated in the centre of a popular village.
Oh, this is nice, isn't it, Phil?
Yeah, it's not bad. It's a nice bit limited height, but there again, I'm short anyway.
Nice views over the country as well.
Yeah, I think it's... can't fault it. The inside of this house was really good. It's modern, it's very fashionable. It has all the bits that I was looking for in a house. You could move into it straight away.
When we arrived outside the house, I must admit, my first thoughts, I was a little disappointed because I was expecting to see a drive, maybe a front and what have you. But once we walked through the front door, it was just light, airy, well decorated. I was surprised. This house clearly fits the bill that Philip is looking for. And I think that he would, enjoy being in this home.
Happy?
Very happy.
Seen enough of this quite large house?
Yes, I think it's nice. It ticks all the boxes, I think. It's ideal what Phil is looking for.
But it's more than that, isn't it? It's more than just ticking boxes. It's what you feel about a house. So tonight, your homework is this. A couple of pints and discuss this as a potential new home. How's that sound?
That sounds good.
Let's go.
Sounds great.
It's the second day of our property search with Phil from Basingstoke in Hampshire and his brother Rob. With a £675,000 budget, he's looking to put down roots in the Oxfordshire countryside after many years working abroad. Coming up, Rob's thinking practically again.
You can get round with a vacuum cleaner pretty quick in here, Phil. And your feather duster.
And the feather duster.
And it's all aboard as I discover how the Victorians used to unwind.
After showing both Phil and Rob around those properties yesterday, I'm starting to realise that maybe Phil hasn't found the right house after looking for 2 years, because he's looked at properties through a tick list formula rather than properties that might take his breath away. And that's what the Mystery House is all about. It'll give Phil the 2 most important things: light, open spaces inside and that quirky character. But the property itself, it comes in a package that he hasn't necessarily asked for, but we think he might rather like. Let's see how we go. So far, you've looked for so long now, a couple of years.
Yep.
And you haven't defined a specific type of house, have you?
No, and there's a reason for that, because I think if you get too definitive, then it limits your search patterns perhaps too much.
You keep your sights so wide, one day you're going to have to make a decision, aren't you?
That is true.
For our mystery property, we're heading into southern Oxfordshire to the village of Kingston Blount, right next door to the Buckinghamshire border. A mile down the road is the larger village of Chinner, which is a range of amenities and an old post mill. It has recently been rebuilt by the local community after the original mill was bulldozed in the 1960s to make way for housing. Chinner is also home to a heritage railway line which runs historic diesel and steam engines to Thames around 3 miles away. Our mystery house is in the centre of Kingston Blount, a smaller village with its own pub and ideally located for transport links between London and Oxford. Part of a complex of 6 properties, the mystery house gives Phil the character and community he wanted, but will challenge him to give up some of his keepsakes as the storage space is somewhat limited.
It's a barn conversion. But what do we think?
Nice development here, isn't it?
You like it, do you?
It's quite mature, yeah.
Yeah. Converted 17 years ago, the property, the barn, dates back 1794.
Right.
And it would have been a grain barn. See that old funnel there, look?
Yeah.
That would have aired the grain inside the barn, and this barn would have serviced that lovely manor house, or farmhouse rather, next door.
Right. I can see there's quite a lot of parking. Is there a garage?
That is one of the compromises of the mystery house. There is no garage. There is a farm just up the road, and you can rent some space there, but there's no garage to speak of.
Is that to keep your tractor in, Phil? Yeah, that would be it. Get into the country spirit.
Yeah. Is that, you know, would that put you off a house without a garage?
It doesn't help the situation, I must admit. But having said that, let's go and see what's inside.
Come on, then.
Come on.
A measured response to our mystery barn conversion. Clearly, the lack of an on-site garage is a concern. But I'm hoping Phil keeps an open mind as we explore the property.
Righty-ho. So, Phil, you're in here first. Hit me with it. What do you think?
Well, it's a nice size. It's nice and light. So far, so good. It's a nice entertaining room, this, isn't it?
Easy to upkeep as well.
Spotlight.
Yeah. You can get round with a vacuum cleaner pretty quick in here, Phil.
Yeah, it's...
And your feather duster.
And the feather duster.
I don't even want to go there. Come on into the kitchen. Come on.
Let's think of something else, though.
Come on.
Aside from this large 24-foot living room, there are only 2 other rooms on this ground floor, a utility and washroom, as well as the kitchen.
So what do we think of this kitchen?
Nice size, good aspect with the windows.
It is a nice size, isn't it?
It's adequate.
So what aren't you seeing in this house that you'd like to see, or that you might have seen before, then?
I'd probably like to have seen one more room downstairs, I think. But, I mean, it doesn't say it's... Well, let's go and see the rest of the house.
Yeah, keep an open mind and see what the rest of the house
And
looks like.
as we've said, it's all about compromise. And, you know, you can't have it...
Well, is it? You say the words, oh, it's all about compromise. Will you be able to make the compromise for the right house? I don't think you want to compromise, which is fair enough.
If you're paying a certain amount of money, you would like to try to get as close to what fits the bill.
I'm feeling we've almost gone a bit flat downstairs. Let's see if upstairs impresses you more. Come on.
OK.
On this occasion, the Mystery House kitchen didn't even warrant Rob's tap test, so I'm feeling the pressure as we head upstairs. The first floor is divided up into 4 decent-sized bedrooms. All benefiting from high ceilings, there are 2 singles at one end of the barn, as well as a light, spacious guest double, and a shower room that services this level.
This is your master. What do we think?
Right.
Ensuite next door, as you can see.
Well, this is a nice room, isn't it?
It is, isn't it? Yes.
Yeah, I like the high ceiling, and it's good space. Storage probably could be a little bit more.
I think one of the stumbling blocks is the garage, lack of garage.
There is, because it's surprising how much stuff you accumulate over time, and I've certainly got some, and I know I've got to get rid of a lot. But it does look to be a bit of a lack of outside storage.
That's fair enough. Let's go outside and start thinking about price.
OK.
Despite giving him that practical character he was looking for, the mystery barn conversion isn't striking a chord with Phil or Rob for that matter. So it's back outside to check out the garden, which is laid to the front and essentially hard landscaped with raised timber decking, making it as low maintenance as possible.
What do you think of the house overall?
It hasn't got the wow factor.
No, and that's something you have been consistent on, isn't it?
I don't think it suits Phil.
OK, then let's guess the price. Who's going first?
Phil will go first.
I think so, yes. I think it's about 575,000.
All right. Rob?
Highest Phil, I think it'll be 565,000.
OK. Phil, you win. This house is on the market for offers around £635,000.
Never.
It's a good part of the world. You're paying for the location here, gents. If it was cheaper, if you could get it cheaper, would it be worth making any changes to this to make it right for you? This is the time to find out. Go back inside and have a good look around.
OK,
See you in a moment.
Under budget by £40,000, the Mystery Barn conversion is the most expensive option we've shown Phil and Rob. With an open-plan layout downstairs and 4 bedrooms upstairs, it gives Phil the modern interior he wanted, but he'd have to store his memorabilia elsewhere in the village. And the property is ideally located for access to both Oxford and London.
When we came inside, initially I thought it was about the right size, but I would probably like to have seen another room, a separate room, added on to give that sort of just another dimension to the house.
As far as the garage is concerned, I think it is a deal breaker. I think he would like the garage to be on site, so easily accessible, because he can keep his tools in there, or workings or whatever, keep his golf clubs and things like that. So yes, I think that is a deal breaker.
So all done inside here?
I think so.
Yeah. Well, no more houses, I'm afraid, but it's now time for you guys to sit down, have a conflab, have a polite argument, and I'll catch up with you after that. How's that?
Look forward to it.
Come on then.
Sounds good.
Carving its way through the southern half of the county, the River Thames is one of the country's much-loved waterways. The inspiration for classic tales such as The Wind in the Willows and Three Men in a Boat, its 215-mile course passes through some beautiful countryside, as well as the city of Oxford. With the rise of tourism in the 19th century, the Thames became a popular destination for Victorian day trippers, and canny boat builders turned their attention to the growing leisure industry. One such firm is Salters, based at Folly Bridge in Oxford, a family-run business that's been operating pleasure cruises on the Thames for the last 150 years. I've come to meet 5th and 6th generation father and son, John and Paul Salter.
Ahoy, gentlemen. How are we?
Very well, thank you.
Very well, thank you.
How you doing? Now, I understand this is it's an old business. So how long has this been in family hands?
We started in 1858 as boat builders over on the other side of the river there.
Oh, right, OK.
and
and what sort of boats were you building then, John?
Boats for the colleges mostly, racing 8s, 4s, sculling boats.
Right.
And then we progressed to doing sort of heavier boat building, sort of punts and rowing boats and that sort of thing.
Now, pleasure boating, this really took off in Victorian times.
Just at the turn of the century, our first boat was a boat called Alaska.
Yeah.
And we started the Oxford to Abingdon services then. We forged associations with the British Railways, as they were then, and they'd bring train loads of visitors on day trips from Wales and all over the country, and we used to take them for a day trip, and then they'd be sent home again. And of course, there wasn't a lot for people to do. There were no theme parks, so a boat ride was it's very special now,
yeah.
But it was even more special in those days.
Built in 1913, the Wargrave was originally steam-operated and converted to diesel power in the 1940s. At 84.5 feet long, it can accommodate almost 200 passengers. During her 100-year-long life, the vessel has entertained esteemed guests, including King George V, who came on board when he opened the Royal Albert Dock extension in 1921. Today we have the boat to ourselves, and as we cut through Christchurch Meadow, on our way downstream, I'm getting a lesson in pleasure boat skippering and river etiquette from 25-year-old son Paul, who's soon to take over the running of the business from his dad.
Talk me through it then.
Right then, so you've got the steering wheel here, got the throttle cable just here, which is just behind you. If you'd like to keep that in forward.
Now, which side of the river should I go on?
You stick to the right-hand side of the river, but just off central. If we make sure we don't go too close to the bank, just because it gets quite shallow.
Automatically, I'm seeing there's a lot of traffic.
Yeah, it's a very, very busy stretch of the river.
Right.
There's quite a lot to look out for. There's a lot of boaters which are moored up, which have got people living on. You've got the rowing 8s as well, coming up and down with the canoes.
So, what's the speed limit?
8 knots.
8 knots. So the future of this family business, 6 generations on, lies with your son here, Paul.
It certainly does.
Feeling the pressure?
Not really at the moment.
Not all at the moment. It's good you're preparing yourself for the unexpected. Look, it's a great tradition, and it's great to see it still in rude health. I wish you the best of luck for the future.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
With a number of heritage pleasure boating companies operating along the Thames, it's clear that messing about on the river remains a popular way to unwind, not least after some serious house hunting.
Well, it's pretty clear to me that with Rob's counsel, if you like, Phil favours house number 2. But has it done enough to call to an end Phil's 2-year hunt for the right property? Let's find out. Now then, gents, you're not falling out, have you?
Absolutely no.
So,
Still brothers.
still, well, you'll always be brothers. You got a favourite house? House number 2?
That's true.
What's next?
Well, I think what's next for me is to go back again, have another view, get a better understanding of the garage, what's there, what planning has been approved, and then, you know, talk to the estate agents and just see, you know, a bit more about the history of the house.
How about from your point of view, Rob? Do you think that house is suitable?
I think it is suitable. It's got a wonderful sunroom. You can spend most of the time in there.
Yeah, it's a nice relaxing area.
Yeah.
It's like for me, but if I get visitors or something, you can go into the other main lounge.
Of course, after looking for property for a couple of years now, you're going to find it hard to finally pull the trigger.
Yes, I am. But these opportunities don't come very often, and I think I need to move very quickly on it. I am one for procrastination of decision making, which frustrates others and myself. And now I think I've really got to think about this more quickly and come to a decision.
Well, look, it sounds like we're on the road, aren't we? What do you think, Rob?
I think so. At long last, after 2 very, very long years. But it's an ideal location for him. It's, as we were saying, 30 miles from where I live.
Do me one favour, won't you? Let me know how you get on at this house.
Yes, I will do. I certainly will. And I really appreciate the work that you've done, Johnny, on our behalf. And I look forward to keeping in touch with you and letting you know the outcome.
Do so, please. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Thank you.
I've got to say, I've had a lot of fun showing Phil and Rob around these 3 houses, and it's great news that Phil wants to go back to house number 2 for a second viewing. But is he finally ready to commit to a purchase after all this time looking for a house? Well, I hope so, and bet his brother Rob does too. See you next time.
If you'd like to escape to the country in either England, Wales, Northern Ireland or Scotland and need our help, please apply online at bbc.co.uk/be on a show.